before I left the hospital. Gas is such a hot topic around C-sections. I go back into the labor and delivery room to spend some time recovering, and with the baby. We stayed there for about maybe an hour or two. Everything, even though it was supposed to take so long, it felt so fast to me for whatever reason. It may have been adrenaline. I may have just been still high. At this time, I'm not feeling like any pain. Much of anything actually, because the anesthesia has not worn off of me yet. So let's see. Oh, a little bit about him. When he came out, he was so loud. At first he wasn't as loud. I remember that my first birth and how loud Bookie was when he came out. And the first cry, I heard him. And I was like, oh, it's a little baby cry. And I was like, he's not as loud as Bookie was. And then they got that fluid out of him. And he is just as loud as Bookie. So we're very vocal over here. So yeah. And he was healthy. Came out at 7 pounds and 12 ounces. And what was he? 18 inches long. I have the little picture. And it's also in the birth vlog that shows that info. But nice big healthy baby. And we achieved the goal. I came out alive and well, and so did he. Isn't that right? That's right. So next, recovery. You want to talk about recovery? Recovery. So I've talked a little bit about it already, but just some notes for detail. I'll say, and right now I have it in 3 phases. And one phase I think is really important to note is when you're in the hospital. I highly suggest staying in the hospital as long as you can. I actually didn't stay in the hospital as long as I could. And let me tell you why. I left a day early because I was doing really well. I met all my milestones, which I'll note down in a minute. And but I could have stayed 4 days, but I only stayed 3. I was just ready to go home. I missed my 3-year-old. I wanted to see him. And I was just anxious to get home, to get, you know, just get to the comfort of my own home, get bonding the 2 brothers, like just all of that. But I say stay at the hospital as long as you can, especially if you don't have any other children to get home to, because you have nurses there 24/7 attending to your needs. And there is food. You don't have to worry about cooking. You don't have to worry about doing anything much for yourself except your own bodily functions. And sometimes that takes a while. And you have time to recover, like without the stress of home, honestly. And just having someone there to do everything for you that is not putting stress on them, like it's like their job and they know what they're doing. It's just better for everybody. So I know you may want to go home. If you're in this situation right now, you might be in a hospital. You may be about to go through this. Stay at the hospital as long as they will allow you. Eat their food. Let them do the dishes. Stay in the bed that sits up on its own. Stay with someone you could call or anyone and have any type of pain medication readily available for you or any help needed. Stay at the hospital. And if you have not got to the hospital yet, just and you feel like you're gonna want to go home, pack things that will make you feel like you're at home. The hospital will never feel like you're home, but the assistance you have there is, I just say, take advantage of your resources. So anyway, that being said, day 1 through 3 is when I was in the hospital, and honestly the first 2 days were pretty much a breeze. I was sore, of course, but my pain management was just fine. That I was given something for pain during the procedure, and it lasts for about 2 to 3 days. Well, up to I want to say up to 2 days after it's been administered, and you don't feel a whole lot of what is actually going on in there, and probably for good reason. But you are still a little sore. What else? Oh, the biggest thing is I could not use my core at all whatsoever. It felt like somebody cut this part of my body out, so I couldn't use it. So I had to like do some very interesting things to get up and like just to move. So I was like using my arms to pull, like using my arms a lot, and of course the hospital bed automatically lifted, so I would lift the back of the hospital bed up as much as I could. And also my husband was there, nurses were there to get me out of the bed when I needed to go. I did figure out how to do it myself, but it was not easy. Like I said, I felt like an entire part of my body was just like cut out, and I couldn't, like somebody just turned it off. That's basically what happened. That part of my body was turned off and I couldn't use it. So yeah, my husband has walked into the room.
Hello.
He can't get on camera though, because he is outside getting the grill together.
I look like outside.
He said he look like outside, so he's not gonna get up the camera. But at some point I will have him talk about his POV for like a couple minutes, you know, while I was in the OR. But so yeah, there was that. Like I said, my pain was managed well. And as far as recovery milestones I had to meet while I was in the hospital is I had to pass gas before I left the hospital. Gas is such a hot topic around C-sections. In every video that I watched, the women either felt, you know, lower gas, or they talked about pain in their neck or shoulder or something, which was actually gas, and they encourage you to take like Gas X or something like that, or have it on hand. I personally didn't have any trapped gas issues, and I'm grateful for that, because I hear it's pretty painful and you have enough that you're dealing with anyway. So was grateful for that. And I did meet that milestone before leaving the hospital. I probably did it like day 2. I had a big problem distinguishing day 1 and day 2, because it felt like one big run-on day for me. It kind of was. So and also I forgot what I needed to do in order to have the catheter taken out, but whatever needed to happen, I was able to have my catheter and my IV taken out on a good, and in time. What did I need to be able to do besides pass gas? That might have been it. Anyway, once they took out the catheter, I needed to pee on my own. And once I did pee, I had to like pee into this like measuring cup thing that you put on the toilet. You probably seen one if you ever been into a hospital room or had anything. Like I remember seeing it once when my grandma had surgery, and it was in her bathroom. So they wanted to see how much I was peeing, so I had to pee into that attachment on the toilet and write it down on the log, so that they can make sure I was, you know, keeping up. And of course there were other things that I had to meet that, you know, they didn't necessarily tell me about, but they monitored me. But I did all of that, and everything was going well. I was walking around with little problem at all, honestly. And yeah, it was all good after that. Baby was doing great. I wasn't feeling that much pain. I was being given Tylenol and ibuprofen on top of what was the pain, whatever was given to me internally around the clock. And I was also being given Colace which is a stool softener. I didn't have to take it. I wasn't required to have a bowel movement while I was at the hospital, but I mean, I'm pretty sure it would have been welcome if I did, but I actually never did. I couldn't do that until I got home. And it happened the first day I got home. I think it was a comfort thing and also just a healing thing, you know. So, yeah. But the Colace is a stool softener, and it is intended to help make that first go easier. Thank God I didn't have any issues. I have heard stories of women that did from both types of births, honestly. So, you know, you don't get away from that from either one. I'm fortunate to not have had issues during either type. So, thank God. So day 3, I was doing so well. They gave me the option to go home. And my husband was getting kind of restless. You know, when you're not the one being tended to, and you just kind of have to hang out on this love seat thing, you kind of get to the point where you want to go home. And to be honest, I was going to send him home that evening anyway. He was going to go see about our son. He was in the care of his grandparents and my sister-in-law, my husband's sister at the time, and he was going to go and pick him up from school and get him back acclimated home, since we hadn't been home in a couple of days, 3 days. But when they offered me the opportunity to go home, I figured, well, we might as well all go, instead of, you know, my husband having to come back and get me and all of that stuff. So at the end of day 3, I did go home. When I got home, I kind of wished I stayed at the hospital just because I wasn't expecting the overwhelm and I was kind of overwhelmed when I got home. And also day 3, that pain medicine that I mentioned that they give you when you're on the operating table started to wear off. And I could tell. I could absolutely tell, because I was feeling more of the discomfort and the soreness from the surgery. It wasn't so bad that I felt like I couldn't manage it, or that the pain medicine wasn't managing it. But I will tell you, I didn't know how good I had it before. And where I thought, I was like, oh yeah, this is actually going to be better than I thought. No, honey. That was smoke and mirrors. That was the medicine just being there for me, doing exactly what it needed to do. And there's no telling how much more pain I would have been in without it prior to day 3. So yeah, day 3 was a bit rougher. I was still able to move around and everything, but I'm not gonna lie, I was not comfortable. I was a lot was going on with me on day 3, but I got through it. I remember crying. I had like this crazy, like, weird outburst with my husband, just telling him, like, I don't know why I feel the way I do. And the doctor warned, before we left the hospital, the doctor warned us, and more so my husband, of how I would likely be when we got home. He said that, you know, I could or could not have postpartum depression if he saw any signs of certain things, especially me wanting to harm myself. You know, the spiel, you know, call a doctor right away, or get some help. And they gave us resources and numbers to call and everything, and procedures of what to do. But also he warned that I may be like weepy, and I actually scoffed at that. I was like, weepy? I'm not about to be crying and stuff at home. I was so weepy. When I got home, I was just really sad, because it really started to hit home that no, like, this is even more real. You're feeling it now. And I was not able to do a lot of things that I really wanted to do. And there's just something about having that taken away from you temporarily, or even, like, you know, for whatever amount of time, that you have to adjust to. And it's not a happy feeling at first. So I was weepy. I was a bit depressed, and I had trouble sleeping the first night. Yeah, it was not great. The first week itself was just challenging. Fortunately for me though, let's see, it was super rough. I cried a lot. I did have mood swings. The lack of mobility and managing the pain started to wear on me. And also just not being able to care for my son on the level that I usually do also wore on me. You are instructed not to lift anything heavier than the baby. Now, I guess that just depends on how heavy your baby is. My baby was almost 8 pounds. That's not a lot of weight at all. So you can't really lift much. And I definitely couldn't lift my first child, which we did have a little episode one day where he just did not understand why I couldn't pick him up. And it made me so sad. I cried. Stairs, I was cleared to walk stairs. Just kind of pay attention to my body. It was challenging going up the stairs. I started off very slow, and I listened to my body. Your body will tell you, like, this is too much or this is not too much. Whew, I ran out of memory. I had to make some memory. This is gonna be such a long video. So yeah, I was talking about the steps. I went really slow, and I listened to my body, and I made it a point really to only do steps twice a day the first week, and that was to go upstairs to go to bed and come downstairs when it was time to get up and, you know, just kind of have the day. If you are able to, like, kind of set up shop and sleep in one area of the home downstairs, if you have stairs, I highly recommend that for the first week. Like, if you have a guest bedroom downstairs and there's a bed and everything, I would say set up down there, because it'll work out much better for you. Our guest bedroom downstairs is actually our office right now, so there is no bed, but there's, like, I would have probably preferred to be in there because there's a bathroom close by. Everything was close by and on one floor. So yeah, what's next? Okay, so like I was saying, even just without stairs, I walked slowly throughout the house anyway. I walked at my own pace. I moved slowly. I had very little mobility, like bending over, all of that stuff. Getting up and down was very challenging, and not without some type of discomfort. It wasn't fun. Sitting wasn't fun. Standing for a long time wasn't fun. Nothing was fun. Sleeping, I had to sleep on my back, and I'll share how I made it more comfortable when I talk about products I used, because this is a game changer for me. My husband was there to help me with certain things. I was able to use the bathroom by myself, even though it probably would have been a lot easier if I let my husband help me. But it was just something about using a bathroom that I just wanted to do by myself. And I ain't gonna lie, I struggled. Not just like from doing the necessary steps you need to do to use the bathroom were all hard, and it took time. Each day got a little better, but honestly, I did better at the hospital, just simply because I couldn't feel as much of the pain and discomfort as I could when I got home. I just felt so much more of it. But I did make a point, even though I was hard-headed and didn't let my husband help me use the bathroom and stuff all the time, I didn't do it when he was, like, far away. I tried to make it a point to make sure he was close by, just in case something went wrong. I didn't want to fall or... so something like that. So don't be Mr. Independent like I was. Use the help that is there. It's probably far less dangerous if you just do that. But I was able to do it, and like I said, it got easier by the day. And I already talked about not having trapped gas. So like I said, first week, very, very much struggle. Hello guys, before we move on to week 2, there is something I realized I forgot to mention, and it is about sneezing and coughing. Sneezing and coughing is just one of the absolute worst things right after a C-section. You are advised to keep a pillow near so you can press it against your stomach and the incision area if you have to sneeze or cough. But sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, it did catch me off guard. For instance, if I burped, and I had to cough right after I burped, it was pure. It was really bad. That's all I'm gonna say. It's one of the worst pains I've ever experienced. It burns so much. Sorry, this is editing Cramel, and I have editing Cam here, but I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that as a part of my week 1 experience. Week 2, I call it day 8 through 14. I felt much better. It was like a turning point for me. I gained a lot of mobility back, and it may be because I walked and I did make attempts to do those things that were difficult for me. But I did gain a lot of mobility back. So like bending and reaching, like I said, they weren't a cakewalk, but they became a lot easier. Using the bathroom became a lot easier. Like wiping myself became a lot easier week 2, and I was feeling a lot stronger and a lot more steady. So I was, probably moving around a lot smoother as well. Even though I felt stronger, I'm still kind of like not moving. I'm moving, definitely moving quicker now, but I wasn't moving too fast or doing it. Like I cannot run at week 2, but yeah, I felt a lot stronger and a lot more steady. I could shower, like I just said, I could shower and use the bathroom a whole lot better. And I felt much more comfortable dealing with the area of my scar. So I was kind of afraid to touch that area. Even when I showered the first week, I tried to be super gentle. Like I wouldn't do anything but like, I have a detachable shower head, and I just would spray the water over it. But that's about all I did. And let me be real with y'all. I have a fupa, period. If you don't know what else do people call it? Apron belly, whatever. I have had 2 children, and that's just what a real woman's, well, not a real woman, that's just what my body looks like right now. That's the era I'm in. So my scar is kind of under there. So I was afraid of like lifting it or doing anything that would possibly tear it. Honestly, it was probably serving as a layer of protection. But I did worry about keeping it clean properly, just because I have like that extra fold down there. So, and I started looking up stuff on ways to like, make sure things didn't get complicated under there. But as like I said, week 2, I felt a lot more comfortable touching in that area, cleaning it. I wasn't just going to town. I definitely wasn't scrubbing, but I felt more confident about cleaning it with like soap and rinsing it off and finding more ways to stay dry under there. There's so many, like, just, I guess you can like Google or TikTok apron belly C-section, and there's a lot of pointers on how to deal with that. I'll touch on products I've been using as a way that I've been trying to keep everything fresh and healthy and not infected in that area. Let's see. I started to walk a lot more. So me and baby were taking walks. I was definitely able to start back doing a lot more things for my Bookie Bear, my 3-year-old. So that means like getting him dressed for school, getting him in the bathtub, stuff like that. And also I had worked on getting him a bit more independent before I had the baby, because I just anticipated this and I didn't want him to, not be. So he learned a couple more life skills and has gotten a lot better with certain things. And it just kind of showed improved when I started back doing more with him when I felt better. He was kind of surprising me. So Bookie Bear is the bomb. What else? I started to run a few errands, And like I said, I started taking walks, which were actually really good for my mental. Just getting outside and outside of the house. It don't have to be far. I don't have to be doing anything much, but just helped my mental well-being so much. There was just something about being outside of this house, not in the bed, that helped me a lot. So if you can walk outside, do that, because that helped me tremendously. Now I will say this, I was not instructed not to drive. It's not on my release papers, and no doctor told me that I could not drive when I got home. But that is something that I have heard, that some women after C-sections, they're told not to drive. I wasn't told that I couldn't drive, and I was definitely driving to like Target. Target is not far from my house. Like, I could probably walk there if I really wanted to, but I was driving short distances. I drove to take my son to school. My son's school is less than 10 minutes from my house, so like I drove there. So just in full transparency. What? Oh. So yeah, I wasn't instructed not to drive. I'm not telling you to drive, but I am telling you I was driving short distances by week 2. Week 1, heck no. No. I didn't even feel confident enough to do that. And now, week 3, well, now I'm in week 4 now, but week 3, I was able to work my way back to the longest distance that I walked leisurely. There's like me and my son have like a little walking path or trail that we do in our neighborhood that is kind of hilly. Georgia, it has hills, y'all, if you don't know. And it could be a workout. And by week 3, I was able to walk that little trail with my son with no problems. I actually started to feel like I was now enjoying my maternity leave time off, because up until then it all felt, you know, just not so enjoyable. And now I am currently in, I guess now it's week 5, because this little guy is 4 weeks old today, and I'm thriving, and we both have checkups this week. So we both have our month checkups this week, so it's gonna be great. And yeah, that's it. So next up, like I said, we both have 1 month checkups. We have them on the same day, actually. And I hope to start working out soon. I mentioned I do have FUPA or apron belly or whatever you want to call it, but I don't, you know, she's here in her era right now, but I don't intend for her to remain here, or at least not as big as she is right now. So I do intend to get back to some lifestyle changes and just working out with the purpose of losing weight and feeling better about myself and my body. I'm very proud of this body. I'm proud of myself, don't get me wrong. But we will move on to a new era, you know, once we are cleared to go. All right, products that I have been using that have been super helpful to get me through the C-section recovery. Number 1, a wedge pillow. Sometimes they call them surgery pillows on Amazon or whatever, but it's basically a memory foam wedge that comes in the shape of a triangle, an obtuse triangle. Is obtuse right? I hope that's right. It's like a right angle in or maybe it's a right angle triangle, whatever. So maybe it's not an obtuse. Let me stop trying to be too smart. But it's a wedge, and it helps. The wedge one, the one I bought, which I have linked in the description box below, I could either set it up so that I could sit up easier in the bed, or I lay it long ways so I can sleep easier in the bed. In either position, it made it so much easier for me to get in and out of the bed and also access my baby. My baby was in a bedside bassinet next to me. I had the Halo bassinet, and it has a retractable side, so if I needed to just get to him easier, I just pull that side down so that I could get to him. And it was just a matter of kind of either rolling over or not having to pull myself up to get up, because the wedge pillow gave me support that I needed. So I highly recommend that. I know a lot of people use it for other types of surgeries, like back surgeries, BBL surgeries, whatever type of surgery that's going to affect your you know, needing that type of support, that upper support. The wedge pillow will probably help out a lot. Second thing, I have a Frida baby C-section band. Now, I didn't use this as much, but it was useful in the first week. And basically, Frida baby made a band that kind of provides some protection over your C-section incision. So if you have small children, or even this baby, if they just kind of happen to kick in that area, it kind of offers you some protection. And the other thing that I loved about it, this is what I really loved about it, I didn't really need a ton of protection being kicked in that area, but it came with hot and cold pads, and you can insert them into the band, and that would help with any discomfort or pain management, along with, you know, whatever you were already taking. I did put the cold packs in the freezer, and it helped so much on some days when it just, you know, it just helped a lot. So I liked the band for that, for sure. It's adjustable, it's very comfortable. Yeah, so yeah, I like that. I got a girdle by Belfit. Now, I could not put this girdle on until, I probably wasn't comfortable putting on this girdle until like the end of week 2, maybe early week 3. And the biggest reason I didn't want to put it on was, first, I had everything was still, all of my swelling was still going down, and I literally could not get it on. And I didn't want to force it, so I didn't use it like the first week or the second week, really. But by the third week, a lot of my swelling had gone down, my stomach had gone down quite a bit, and I was able to put it on. I really liked it because it provided me even more support as far as my back, and just being able to get up and down and do things that I needed to do around the house. And it also helped to further reduce even more swelling. So I plan to keep wearing that, and it will be linked below. I also got another like generic waist wrap off of Amazon. I haven't worn that one yet, but I've worn one like it before. So it's for the same reason: support, back support, and compression, so that I can reduce, you know, reduce my waistline and tummy. Another thing I really liked, a sea panty. So this brand called Upspring, you may have heard of them. I think they might make more than just postpartum products, but they make something called a sea panty, and it's for women recovering from a C-section. It has a little silicone patch on the inside to help with the reduction of to help with scar healing. To be honest, it really don't touch my scar because of the way my belly is situated right now, but it's extremely high-waisted, and the level of compression is awesome, and it's super easy to get on, which is another reason I loved that. And it also provided a wonderful level of support. So if you are getting a C-section, no matter what size you are or anything, I highly suggest getting that panty to help with compression and support, and it's just easier to put on than some of the girdles or wraps that are recommended out there too. Gauze. So I first had gauze because my son he did get a circumcision, and you do have to use gauze in their diapers like the first week of healing for the circumcision. And I had bought some more because we ran out of the ones that we got at the hospital. But then I discovered that it would probably work really well for me with trying to keep my incision area dry and just sanitary. And I worried about it just because my scar is under a skin fold. And if you know anything about body folds, it could collect sweat, skin, whatever. And I didn't want that to start to cause any complications. So the gauze, I took the gauze under my tummy. And as the swelling, as my tummy has gone down, it's been a little bit more difficult to keep the gauze tucked in because it's less to use to tuck it under there, if that's making any sense at all. But like, I will replace it multiple times a day, definitely after showers, when I go to the bathroom, about as much as I would replace like a sanitary napkin or going to the bathroom, just to keep the area dry and clean and you know, not smelly. So yeah, gauze for that. I did buy a pack of disposable panties, and they were high-waisted. I got them off Amazon. I really didn't care for the ones that I got from the hospital because it was like, I mean, they're comfortable to an extent, but they like don't provide any support, and your pads don't really stick to them that well. They really meant for you to just sit in the bed with something on. But the ones that I got off Amazon are kind of made with nylon or whatever. They're they have very light support, lighter. It's like strong enough for you to feel like you have something on, but light enough to where you don't feel uncomfortable or whatever. And they're very much like, and you just throw them away after you're done with them. So I used those for the first first 3 weeks until I ran out, but I was glad to have them. Also, okay, babies do that, just in case you didn't know. That's why you gotta be on your guard. Tylenol, I bought a big thing of Tylenol because I was on a cycle with taking them. I'm not taking the Tylenol anymore right now, but I am still taking the ibuprofen that I was prescribed. Colace, which is you can get that off Amazon or any Target, Walmart, whatever store is close to you. You can get Colace from there, and that is a stool softener just to help you keep using the bathroom easier. Taking a lot of pain medication can make it a bit more difficult when trying to have a bowel movement, so it's recommended to continue to take the Colace for a while after birth. See your doctor for just how long. And I did purchase Gas X. I haven't had to use it yet, but just hearing all the other C-section stories about needing it made me buy it. So I just have it on hand if I have any issues with gas. So yeah. Whew, all right, that was a long one, and I know this video is going to be long, but I hope my story and my experience helps anyone else out there. All in all, I think C-sections are a very positive thing. Although recovery was not my favorite thing, and my experience with anesthesia wasn't my favorite thing, I'm happy to have had the opportunity to deliver my baby safely. And yeah, without that, you know, without this modern tool, a lot of people probably wouldn't be able to do that, especially in my situation of having a breech baby. Yeah, that's all I have. Make sure you like this video. Let me know about your C-section experience, or if you plan to have one. What products are you using? Talk to me in the comments. Tell me what you feel. Tell me what you think. I would love to get a dialogue going about this, just because I have so much to say, and of course I just went through it. So yeah, subscribe to this channel. Definitely a lot more than maternity experience here, and I'll start to be phasing out of this, not completely out of this content, but I'm not pregnant anymore, so we'll be moving to the next phase soon. But you'll definitely see a lot more of him. Yeah. And that's it. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.